for a while. Currently, they are in a ceasefire because the Pure Dragonborns have gained a lot of land,
Yeah, well,
and
so
they are
I am
war.
recording the video now. Well, guys,
Oh shit!
we are so sorry for
Hello
the
and
fuck up
welcome
on
to
our
Wizards
half.
Presents.
OBS crashed
I'm Sydney Goodman, and
and
today we're
refused to
going to
load. So
announce
here
all of
is us reacting to the Wizards Presents once again, not for the first time, and our thoughts. I will be skipping through some of the Magic, the like most of the Magic, the Gathering, because I myself do not play Magic the Gathering. Me and the rest of us here, we play D&D. So we'll just be giving you our thoughts on our on basically whatever the event actually covered.
the biggest Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons events, releases, and partnerships coming up over the next year. I'll be joined by Jimmy Wong and Ginny D, who will help deliver new exclusive details about what's in store for Magic and D&D. And stick around because afterwards we'll have the debut of Magic the Gathering's latest set, Dominaria United, where we'll dive deeper into the story and mechanics with a ton of card previews. We hope you're as hyped as we are. In 2023, Magic will be
So
traveling
we
to
will
one
be
of
skipping
the most
the.
iconic.
Yeah, we know that the Magic the Gathering is having a Lord of the Rings crossover. Middle Earth specifically. Again, as we mentioned, I'm not really a Magic the Gathering player, neither are most of the players. However, it will be interesting to see Magic the Gathering basically meet some of the lore from J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth, and beyond. Uh, First and foremost, the most important thing is the next edition of Dungeons and Dragons, 1 D&D, which yes, we have downloaded the playtest, subscribe for additional content. We will be giving our own personal feedback. For those of you who are DMs out there or players out there, you know, if you have a D&D Beyond account, feel free to go and download the playtest and play it and give your own thoughts. As per what I think of 1 D&D, I am excited for this next, the next iteration of Dungeons and Dragons. Hopefully, with with fifth edition at its core and using important aspects from other editions, uh, we might be able to do more things. What do you think, Trey, Lynn?
Dungeons and
Really happy
Dragons
about
is a
backgrounds
thrilling
becoming
adventure where you
a
play together as
way more
dungeon
important
players,
feature
but also an
for the
adventure
characters.
itself.
And
Now,
it
we
just
stand at the start of a new
proves that
generation of Dungeons and
where
Dragons.
you come
And
from
today,
or
we're
who
going to
you what
introduce
you
some of
are,
what's in store
no
for
matter
us
what
as we
race,
embark on an initiative that we
where you
call
come from and what you do as a
Afterthoughts.
living is
Growing
what
up,
determines what
I
you're good at.
loved fantasy, but I never
And
The
with
saw
it
myself as
not
a hero
being
because
any
I didn't think
feats
it was
and
possible for
actually a
someone just
select
like me
feat
who acted like me
from the
was
job you
to
had
be that hero.
gives it a
We want to
lot of
continue to reach
purpose
out
on
to folks
choosing
who are
what
interested
you
in fantasy,
were
who love
before you became
storytelling,
an
who
adventurer.
enjoy spending time with their friends and creating
I
these
actually
collective
enjoy the
stories
fact that they
that
have
they can remember for years to come.
balanced some of the feats and made it as part of the background so it makes more sense to the actual character. Um,
The fact that they balanced the feats that I hate
Lucky.
due to them not being balanced is really fucking great. I love it. They
Mm-hmm.
finally fixed Lucky with his wording. They finally fixed Alert,
Alert. Yep.
so it's not fucking broken. They did a lot of shit. They kept really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And since they're only first levels, they actually implemented a new rule system so that, like, well, not new, but they are making it more prevalent in the future, in this future one
Iteration of
D&D.
iteration of 1 D&D. Yeah. What I think is probably my favorite feature is the fact that you can have any homebrew game that runs on 5th edition and just turn it into a 1 D&D version of that same exact game because there's not that much of a difference. I'm also excited for whatever will be the virtual tabletop that Wizards is working on alongside D&D Beyond. The only worries I have are the same as yours, Lynn, which is give us options for customization, come up with like custom homebrew options or skill modifiers or additional things like Foundry.
Do we want to talk about the new possible replacement for Roll20, Foundry, ATT, stuff like that? Fantasy backgrounds,
Yeah.
those type of software.
Obviously, Wizards of
The
the Coast
replacement they're
has
coming out.
they have more resources, so obviously it's going to be better. But like
That's not guaranteed. You gotta see what happens. It might be better for official D&D content, but if it's something that's more, if it's not customizable or loose, then
for like
for a
homebrew
lot of
games,
D&D players,
yeah, it might not work.
yeah. But also for anyone that has more unique circumstances, or for people that just can't buy materials that are going to be behind that paywall for D&D Beyond. Because I believe for the miniatures and the creatures that you want to use in this new software, they're going to be behind that paywall.
Wait, so let's say you have a subscription to this service and it is a subscription based service. If you already bought, like pre-ordered or bought a physical or digital copy of the of an upcoming book, can you just import all those
I believe-
monsters and stuff directly into the
I believe if you already bought it, you're going to be fine. For any new D&D players or DMs, for mostly DMs, if they want to actually use the contents that they're either going to have to try to homebrew it, which might not be possible, or they're going to have to buy it. And we all know how expensive D&D can be.
I hope they have a like custom map generator kind of thing where we as DMs we can create our own custom map. Let's say we find an image or we want to create a custom map. I hope we have like the tool set for something like that. Or like custom stat blocks for like monsters or creatures or players or NPCs. That would be interesting.
Yeah. A lot of it is guesswork due to the fact that they only show a small bit of footage.
Yeah, the
of
pre-alpha
what basically
footage.
seems like just a 3D version of a map with miniatures.
Yep.
You can find on Steam, but I'm just saying they only talked about the view, like how it's a shift scale, where like it's a more miniature focused and stuff like that. They didn't talk about any of the customization or any of the features or what's going to be included, and it feels like it's just going to be a map for like it's just going to be a battle map for your players, and that's about it. And it's going to utilize the dice that you have for your character sheets and show them up on screen and stuff like that. Like it's not going to be as fluid as Foundry or maybe Roach.
It might be a scenario where like if you create a character sheet on D&D Beyond, you don't need to like you can just log into that account and automatically like it's all the characters and campaigns you're in are just imported directly into.
It mentions customization for characters, miniatures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering how they're gonna do that exactly. Are we just gonna get a pose, then get a body type, then get a skin color, then get a race, and all that stuff, and then like that's how it generates it? Or what exactly are we gonna get? How much customization are we?
I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see because it's like 2 years down, like a year or 2 years down the line. So
Oh yeah, big time. It's a long way.
the next D&D thing that they said was yeah, the Legend of Drizzt, which is obviously the entire 39 books of R.A. Salvatore's Legend of Drizzt collection going on sale currently.
They
Audiobook.
and they also announced a new thing they're going to try, which is a webcomic on
Yeah.
Webtoon, which is going to be I believe, the daughter of Drizzt, who
Yeah.
is going to try to show that they themselves are as powerful as their legendary parents. Which is interesting. I kind of wanted to check myself.
The visual dictionary that they mentioned, visual dictionary. I think that's pretty interesting because it's like obviously it's a compendium, so obviously might have monster stat blocks and like secrets of like of like different regions of the Forgotten Realms and whatnot. But like I personally probably am not going to read all 39 books of The Legend of Drizzt. That's just no. I'll probably check out the webcomic for sure and maybe find read the visual, like maybe get the visual dictionary, but all 39 books, that's quite a bit.
Spectacular journey through the Forgotten Realms in never before seen detail. From the glaciers of Icewind Dale
Yeah, it is a lot. And with all the visual, as it said, visual novel, it is huge. Like, there is so much to see, so much beautiful art. Although, I'm assuming it's pretty messy, so you gotta have that wallet with you.
In the Drizzt universe for the next generation of fans. We will bring a Drizzt family.
What was the next topic?
I think that the thing after that they announced the Spelljammer has recently come out, obviously, with the Adventures in Space.
We saw a cute hamster doing its thing.
I mean, they already announced that in the D&D Beyond, the D&D Presents, like 2 months ago or 3 months ago. And then we got a little bit of about Dragonlance this time.
A world at war, Dragonlance. This is the first time in decades players
I kind of want to look at that. There was something that I actually haven't really looked into it besides the Dragon Queen, which is
Tiamat.
I presume is Tiamat, but
it might be something different. Yeah, in this case.
It might be, but
because I do know that the Dragonlance originally was its own game in 3.5, inspired off obviously like D&D. But some of the gods are like have a different name there, and it's like set in a more like traditionally like knights and dragon kind of setting where like the magic isn't as I don't think is as high. I don't think it's as high magic, but I do know that back in 3.5 Dragonlance was quite popular, and the fact that they're bringing it to 5th edition is interesting. I will say the Warriors of Krynn game bundle pack that they have going on with the Shadow, Shadow of the Dragon Keep 5th edition adventure for Dragonlance. I think that's interesting because it brings this whole like war mechanic where you as a DM as well as your players like they can control independent legions of like armies and squads in a large scale war. So that's like very interesting.
Yeah. I honestly am loving the new content that's coming out. I want to play a lot of races that have been revised. I want to start a new game that has a lot of revisions to it. But when everything gets past UA.
Mhm.
Well, until we get more content from us.
I mean, the survey is coming up for the character options
Yeah.
UA, so I think we'll give good feedback.
Also, I think you should link that website,
I'll put it in the
one
description.
D&D,
I'll
so
put it in the
that
description.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that people can find it and actually look at it themselves. But
Yep.
what we got, jeez, I mean, like, it's so freaking good. It helps DMs and it also helps players. You can. It tells you how to make your own like half
They-
race instead of like it details on the half races.
Yeah, it
Also
details on how you
details
can
on
make a half elf or a half orc
create your own.
or like a
Yeah,
combination of an
and
orc and an elf where you can take specific traits from.
also tells you how. Yeah, it tells you also how to make your own background if you need
Yeah.
to.
Yep. Yep.
If your DM allows you to
Make it a background.
create your own. But I would suggest that, like for me as a
Going
DM, I would suggest that it has to be different enough from the other backgrounds that exist, so that it can be unique. And anyone can take this background, and it's not unique to yourself. It's
They-
just either very exotically rare or something.
Yep. They did confirm that the Knights of Solamnia as well as the high sorcery mages that we got from UA like earlier in the year from the mage of high sorcery black, mage of high sorcery white, and mage of high sorcery red. I think came in the form of UA, I think Dragons of Kryn or something like that a while ago, along with the Moonlight Sorcerer. Was that? Is that what it was called? The one where like they get different spells according to the phase of the moon. I think they retconned that. I think they retconned that though, because I was kind of
Thank
overpowered.
the fucking god.
That was OP. That was overpowered.
Most DMs hate trying to make a calendar. They'll just use the basic calendar. But trying to calculate the cycles of the moon is an annoying thing. Luckily,
Yeah.
we do have tools for that.
Let alone a sorcerer class that basically gets different spells on different phases of the moon. That's just
fucking annoying.
that's broken. That's like not even fair.
All I can say about the art is that
Also, we should mention the art.
Oof, for
I think
Dragonlance is
actually-
amazing. Beautiful.
Yeah. Also, Ardling, I think. I think
Yeah,
they
we-
based it on the Egyptian gods, or my bad,
No, I think Ardlings are based off
the imagery.
Ardlings are based off of I think Ardlings were there in old edition lore. They're basically like celestial like creatures or whatnot.
And well, you remember, like the Egyptian god that has a man body, and there are like there's that for like eagles and other things like that.
Like Horus
that's
and
what they're based
whatnot,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know for sure. I had no clue, but that's actually struck my mind when I thought of it. Well, that could be it. Maybe they're based on that.
No, they're clearly
Also-
based on like different like elemental planes, but Shadow of the Dragon Queen.
Explored before in 5th edition, and that's offering a game experience that cooperates.
They could be used in that setting, though.
The role-playing
Yep, so
out of the larger adventure.
Besides that, anything else?
yeah,
Would
here
you like to just play the rest of it?
this is the obviously this is the book. They've got I'm just opening the section of the Warriors of Kryn, like Dragonlance game that they talked about, the war game. There's obviously a rule book, scenario book, bunch of like cards, minis, a map, and like a bunch of tokens.
I got you.
Don't know what that is. Something moments. I have
I
no
can
idea.
think of a lot of moments, man.
Equipment, charisma, wisdom, intelligence, honor, constitution, integrity, strength. Oh, dexterity, strength. Yeah.
A unique mass battle experience that meshes in
They
and
also
out
talked a
of
lot.
larger adventure.
Well, not a lot, but they talked
And the
quite a
Dragonlance Deluxe Edition will
tiny
only
Yeah.
be a
about
part
Oh
of
yeah, the next thing that came out was
the new movie.
the next thing that came out was D&D in Japan.
You can check D&D Beyond for release details.
Oh yeah, that. Well, honestly, I thought that happened a while back, but nonetheless, I'm real happy for them.
It's interesting.
I
I
can't
like
wait
the
until I see all the anime stuff that already exists. Just saying, but imagine a beholder's senpai.
I will say though, it's interesting to have more. It's always good to have more different types of
Oh
like
yeah, it's
cultures being
always
introduced to
uh,
Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot, and have players from across the world, and really like
it'll
gives
be really
scope to
fun.
the. Yep, definitely.
Because honestly,
Professional
D&D suits a
Anybody.
lot of cultures, and it can be brought to any culture.
Yeah, I
Because
think
you can
originally
put
the
like
gods of
any
the
real setting to it.
originally in like first edition of D&D, there were no one set of gods. There were gods from each different culture that were like represented in D&D before.
In Faerun, there's multiple pantheons.
Mhm.
Like Tiamat's the part of the Draconic pantheon and stuff.
And then finally, I think the last thing that was mentioned was the I think they mentioned what's coming to D&D in 2023. Oh man, I cannot wait for the books.
And now
Some
for
of
the
them are
first
absolutely
time ever,
crazy.
we're going to peel back the curtain on an entire
In
year.
winter, we have the
Let's
Keys
review
of the
the
Golden
taste of the
Vault.
most major
Yeah.
Spring, we
releases
have Glory to the Giants.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Summer, we have the massive Van Delver campaign. Fall, we have uh,
Includes everything
Fall,
you
we
need
have
to
the
tackle
Book of Many
D&D
Things.
Beyond.
And fall again, we have Planescape, another
So
massive
obviously,
campaign.
winter 2023 means early Jan, maybe Feb. We're getting Keys from the Golden Vault. Obviously, that's an anthology of different types of like heist-based stories. So that's great. Spring, so that's somewhere in like March, April. We might get another book. We got Fizban's Treasury of Dragons last year, or this year. I think it was this year. And then next year we're
Yeah.
getting the Big B presents Glory of the Giants. So that's been like the dedicated Giants book. Nerd Immersion did call this out. He did say that he did call out some of these books. I'm excited for the Fandelver campaign that we're getting in, I think, June, July, summertime. Uh,
I am also ready for the Planescape one. That's the one I'm happy, and that's one I'm really.
yeah. Then fall, obviously being our September book, which we will get the Book of Many Things. Oh God, definitely a magic item book, but also potentially like a lore book on different like things that we don't know.
I need it.
Uh,
Most definitely.
that's Hitman. Bro. So the deck of many things and then the book of many things. I'm a little worried about the book of many things.
Everyone was.
Is it a spell book?
I'm not.
Do you think it's a spell book? It's an actual magic item called the Book of Many Things. It's like a spell book of like absolutely like deadly magic. And then obviously
Xanathars like that, you know?
yeah. And then obviously in like November or December we'll get Planescape, which Planescape was uh its own game in 3.5, but the center of Planescape takes place in Sigil, which is in the center of the Outlands, which Sigil is supposed to be the center of the D&D, like a multiverse, like the center of the planes. And Planescape usually tends to deal with a bunch of adventurers hopping from one plane to another plane, dealing with things instead of traveling across like the world, usually just plane hopping and dealing with problems in the multiverse. That's going to be a really good campaign to look out for. Apart from that, I don't think we got anything else D&D related. There was a lot of Magic the Gathering news, like Warhammer 40K and Magic the Gathering having a collaboration, or Doctor Who and Magic the Gathering having a collaboration.
A lot of weird shit. A lot of weird collaborations that really did not be well there, but nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
Take a
There
shot every
will.
time you hear Lynn say nonetheless.
There's a lot of other things that were mentioned. Um, I cannot wait for whatever Wizards has to announce next year or even the coming months. Because God knows, in the coming months, we're going to get more playtest material, possibly changes to classes and subclasses and weapons and fighting styles and whatnot. What change are you looking forward to, Lynn? Hitman, in the classes?
I want fucking Ranger to actually be unique and special. Instead of just giving like elements to it. Unique, special. And not just be a magic sharpshooter
Mm-hmm.
class.
I want them to feel like an actual
fighter
remake.
can easily feel it. Yeah. Like Ranger with some feats can easily feel like a Ranger. That's the problem.
I want them
Nonetheless.
to fix. Uh, they're never gonna do that. I want them to fix nerf wizards just a little bit because wizards are OP, but they're never doing that.
Wizards aren't that bad, actually. They're kind of bad at later. Well, they're kind of scary at later levels, but if you obey
Early
the
levels,
like,
yeah, early levels, yeah, they're not terrifying. Paladins are pretty
Also,
terrifying.
if you actually have a DM that does limit like wish and stuff like that, or stuff, it's not as bad as you would think. Such as like wish can do any of the examples below it, and then other stuff you can do that if it's equivalent to 8th level spell.
I mean, I'm always excited for uses of wish and like coming up with creative new like uses of spells and whatnot, but when it's just used to break the game, it's not. It's not.
Wizards often are the ones that if they get time
another
to
class I
prepare,
want them to fix.
they
I want
are
them to
straight
fix
up
the
bad.
monk. I want them to fix the monk. I really want them to fix the monk. I want the monk to feel like its own thing.
Cool.
Yeah, cool, and be its own thing.
To me, it already does, but I mean, we're the only class that gets 7 proficiency in everything. I'm just saying.
What do you mean? What?
Diamond Soul. We get proficiency in all 7.
Oof. I
We
hope some
also
of
can
the
reroll any saving throw if we spend one key.
I hope some of the classes are a little bit more simplified. Maybe spellcasting is like simplified as well because in the new
Simplify the spell list. Yeah.
yeah, because in the new playtesting they divided it into arcane, divine, and primal uh, types of spells. So maybe there might be a different process of spellcasting for each
Yeah.
class.
For each class.
Hmm.
I mean, that just sounds to me as though they're going to make Arcane be more intelligence-based, Divine be more charisma, and Primal be more wisdom.
No,
A lot
no.
of bard spells are also on the arcane spells.
Hmm.
Because bard typically gets their spells from arcane type of school.
You know what would be very cool?
Clerics and paladins get theirs from divine,
You
which
know
is
what would be very cool? You know what would be very cool if they got rid of
Yeah.
the if they got rid of the idea that wizards have to be high intelligence or druids have to be high wisdom or so on and so forth, and then just said that for you to be one of the like spellcasting classes, you just need to have one of those three stats as the highest. So you could be a intelligence based druid or a wisdom based like paladin or so on and so forth. That would be a very interesting way
That'd
like
be
to go through the
That'd be
spellcasting.
interesting, but I think it would be too. It would be too loosey. Maybe like if it's a class that goes from the arcane, it can be. Nah. I think it should still be like wizard. So I kind of get why for like I think religion should be wisdom instead of fucking intelligence.
Yeah.
For work, but nonetheless, it is what it is.
Well, I mean, it's based off the knowledge that you have.
I know the reasoning. It's just that it's
Thematically,
sucky that the cleric can
thematically
have
low
like
wisdom.
zero
Like
religion
high
if they don't
wisdom
have
would
proficiency.
yeah. It like thematically it makes more sense, but yeah, it like logically, yeah, you're right. I also want
Also, I do want to say
feet chains. I
they
want feet chains.
made. Oh yeah, feats are nice. Do y'all want to talk about alerts and
I'm
lucky?
sad. Of both of them.
Oh, they I will
They're
say
balanced. They're nice.
for alert they're
I mean, it's
very
nerfed.
balanced.
It is
And
definitely
for-
nerfed. It's definitely nerfed. Like no cap, but
it kind of needed it.
it's still
But
good.
nonetheless, I think you can get like alert, like you can get like upgraded.
I will say
for,
one
like,
thing I want
alerts
in
and lucky
alert
and
though.
stuff like that.
I will say one thing I want in
Yeah.
alert though is since they've removed surprise entirely, saying that you can't be surprised. I want a thing where they say that an addendum where they say that you have advantage on rolls against being surprised.
I
So it
think
would
they're
make more
gonna
sense.
add like another feat that has a level pre-res split, and when you
Mhm.
meet that level, as well as have the alert feat, you can gain that feat, kind of like a skill tree,
Mhm.
and that will give you like immunity to the surprise condition and some other like that. Instead of like if you develop this feat tree, you actually can get really good initiative
Yeah,
stuff.
having a feat tree would be great. If you could start off with one feat and then as you go through your game, you're given like multiple options. Kind of like in Neverwinter where you start off with like one skill and then you can choose the different types of feat trees you want to go through. That would be interesting. Ooh,
Yeah, big time.
getting inspiration on a nat 20. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. No longer do you have to like does the bard have to constantly be rolling for inspiration? You can anybody can just get inspiration now for free as long as they roll a nat 20.
20, they get it.
Yeah.
Also, musician gives inspiration for free as well.
Mm-hmm. Grappled being amazing.
And humans just get it for free.
Grappled. Yeah, humans get it for free. Grappling is now really good. Really good. Grapple condition is really good
Not
now.
as good as the restraint condition,
but
but
still,
nonetheless, really good.
yeah, you
For
got
anybody who's playing along at home, we're at 6 shots currently.
you, you got speed 0. You can't
So
change. Disadvantage on attack rolls against anybody except the grappler. If you are moved while you are grappled, you suffer the slowed condition, and you need to make a dex or strength save to escape the grapple. And it happens only at the end of each of your turns.
yeah,
Meaning you can't do it, you can't break free on the beginning of your turns, then have an action to attack and whatnot. You'd have to.
and to grapple a creature, all you gotta do is hit,
Yep.
and that's it. With the unarmed strike, you just gotta hit him, and you're proficient with your unarmed strike no matter what. It's just strength roll plus your proficiency. So that's good. Also, Tavern Brawler got a
Buff.
slight buff, but also specification. So now it specifies furniture,
Yeah, you can.
and it tells you the statistics for the furniture.
Yeah, you use furniture as a I think like a mace or whatnot. It's really interesting.
Any small or medium furniture is used as Great
Great
Club,
Club,
and
yep.
any tiny furniture is used as.
Club. Yeah.
Also, anything that is bigger than medium, like such as a large object,
Mhm.
I would consider, I guess, something that's better than Great Club. I don't know if they thought of it, but technically, Goliath can pick up something that is larger size than that's. Anyone with a good strength score can pick up a large size furniture and say yeet.
Yeah, like my character. He could just grab something and yeet.
Also, it's Tavern Brawler is really good for fucking monks because they can reroll their damage for their unarmed strike.
Also, since you are grappled and
I
you're being moved, you have disadvantage on dex saving throws. And attack rolls against you have advantage.
yep, and that is happening naturally.
That's
Grapplers.
uh-huh. Or
Are they
tremors.
just getting rid of grappler?
Yeah. I think so.
I think they are.
Yeah.
That
It's
would
like
make sense.
Yeah.
Also,
Tremor sense is not a sight.
the crafter feat's really good because you can have advantage and expertise with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice.
I like the fact that they specified that tremor sense allows a creature to pinpoint the location of objects as well as other creatures as long as they're on a surface, but it still doesn't count as a sight.
Yeah.
So if there's a creature
if you have a spell,
so if the creature is
and
say
it relies on
spellcasting,
sight, it doesn't.
then it would be disadvantage on any spell that they cast. But if the creature does not rely on spell, like does not rely on sight for like spells or magical abilities, then it doesn't matter.
So if it specifies as a creature that you see, it does not at all.
Mm-hmm. Because even if you have tremor sense,
harsh stretch.
even if you have tremor sense, you can't cast a spell because you don't have sight. Even if
They
you know
also
where they
added
are.
common sign language,
Yes, they
which
did.
is nice. Which is nice, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah. They did specify. Oh yeah, the D20 test. Nat ones auto fails. Nat 20s
what
auto
you do.
succeeds. Nat 20 auto succeeds, and critical hits are you roll twice the dice, which is basically the same thing we've been doing all this time.
That is still the typical. Yeah, that's typical. But it does specify finally that any D20 checks, such as ability checks, attack rolls, and saving throws, any of those, if you roll one,
It's a fail out
no
of
matter
fail.
what it is, you fail. Even if it's a skill check, or even if it's like
Yeah, because previously you
like
couldn't fail on ability checks. Now
Yeah.
you do.
Also for and now the same thing goes for saving throws. So what if you nat 20 on the saving throw? You succeed, cannot fail, unless there's other limitations besides modifier, such as if you're trying to shoot a longbow and it's past your long, like if it's past your
Line of sight.
long range attack range, yeah. If it's past your long range, then you still can't bypass that limit. but nonetheless, it's like you need build check, saving throw, or anything like that. If you are fighting the god per se, and you nat 20 on that saving throw, you would succeed. Be like, huh? What's up? What's up? What you doing? Hey, how you
Also,
doing?
the fact that if you have proficiency in a skill and a tool proficiency for the same ability check, you gain advantage on that check just inherently.
If you have the crafter feat. Yeah, no, if you have the crafter feat.
But see, now, does the crafter feat also apply to all-purpose tools for
No,
artificers,
no,
or is it
not
just
for
one set of
crafter feat.
tools?
If you have proficiency with a tool, you can add your proficiency bonus to any ability check you make that uses that tool. If you have proficiency in the skill that uses with the check, you have advantage on the check too. This functionality means you can benefit from both skill proficiency and tool proficiency on the same ability check. Doesn't require crafter feat. That's just inherent.
Right, well, I'm actually asking about the crafter feat, though. Like, does that apply to all-purpose tools as well, or is it specifically just one set of tools?
I can just go and check here. Give me 1 second. Let me check it. Crafter. You're
I'm
adept at
assuming
crafting.
just one set of tools.
You're adept at crafting and bargaining things with merchants. You gain the following benefits: tool proficiency with 3 different artisan tools of your choice. But whenever you buy non-magical item, you receive 20% discount on it. And whenever you craft an item using a tool with which you have tool proficiency, the required crafting time is reduced by 20%.
I would say since tools is the thing that gives you that. So for artists, for just tool proficiency, since it gives you advantage if you have the skill related to that, it depends. So if we're talking about like alchemist supplies, if you add arcana as well as alchemist supplies, or like if you use these tools and you have sleight of hand
Yep. Advantage, yeah.
as well, you would have advantage as well.
Right.
So that new rule gives tool proficiencies
Utility, like actual utility. And
very good utility. So if we were to say someone was lockpicking a fucking door, they would have advantage plus their proficiency, probably their expertise if it's a rogue.
okay, so, I didn't even notice this, but certain feats are repeatable, meaning you can keep taking them and stack.
Yeah, no. So for like magic initiate,
yeah, that's repeatable.
you can you can do that 3 times.
Yep.
Arcane, divine, and primal.
So literally what I've suggested once before to you, and you were like, no. Now that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it's another thing.
funny,
But keep
actually.
in mind. Keep in mind. At least they limited it to 3, not 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And you have to choose from a different school.
Yeah.
Or my bad, different
spell list.
Well, it would be the same as if you like currently if you took Magic Initiate again, say, you know, with my character I pick Wizard, instead I would pick Warlock. You know,
Yeah,
they might
but
have
with
similar
Warlock
spells.
you would have
It's
to.
arcane. Warlock is still arcane.
Yeah.
Warlock is still arcane. So you'd have to
No,
pick.
I'm saying like. No, I'm saying. So for the old version of Magic, you would have to use Charisma for that spell.
Yeah.
Right.
Now you don't.
Which would now you don't, but since Wizard is part of the Arcane, you'd have to choose something fine.
Skill defeat. Broad learning. 3 skills in which you lack proficiency, gain proficiency in those skills.
I will say this actually does kind of scare me.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't everything?
Magic Initiate.
Yep.
No matter what spell list you pick from, you can choose Intelligence, Wisdom,
Yeah.
spells.
Yep.
This makes sense, of course, but it does make it the idea that you had of all like spellcasters can just choose which one they want to use for their spellcasting.
Yep.
More possible. which is honestly fucking terrible.
Yep. You can have booming.
I
You can have
mean,
booming
a
blade.
imagine it, a charismatic fucking wizard.
Lynn, this you know what this means? The guidance and guidance can stack now, right? With
No, it still wouldn't stack. Remember, a spell with the same name or same like if it's the same spell, it cannot stack. Say
But it would
such
stack.
as two haste.
Hmm. But guidance plus. Okay, question. Would the inspiration you get as a human stack with the inspiration you would get from rolling an at 20?
Remember, in the rule it specifies one at a
Probably.
time. You can only have one inspiration at a time. So
Right.
even though humans get a free one,
They
it
don't.
won't matter because, well, if someone tried to give him a if they got a natural 20 or anything like that, it won't matter because they got inspiration. Honestly, though, it does allow humans to just use that inspiration. I might get a natural 20 so
The
use my
skilled feat.
inspiration.
The skilled feat is
And keep
repeatable.
in mind,
I mean, you can.
yeah. Also,
Keep getting
keep in mind,
Yep.
if you use inspiration on a skill check and then get another nat 20, you get that.
Yep. Yep.
So you can technically chain inspirations if you get lucky.
Yep. Speaking of lucky.
Man,
Oh no.
let's go to that. You have luck points equal to proficiency bonus. So you can have 6 if you wish.
Mm-hmm.
If you get to high level. Also, though, they specify it finally. You cannot abuse it anymore.
If you roll, it says
Immediately after you roll a d20,
1 luck point to
you
give
can spend
advantage on
1
the roll.
luck point to give yourself advantage.
Mhm.
To the
And when a creature rolls
and it
d20
says immediately after you roll.
Yep.
So it has to be, even if you hear it, even if you want to hear it, you have to do it basically as soon as that d20 is rolled. You have to say, all right, I'm using a luck point, and you choose a higher roll.
Yep.
And
A disadvantage. Yep.
that's all you can do. You can't do it, and you can't do it again because you already have it.
Yep. And
Just use that higher roll.
when it comes to the other thing, it says here, when a creature rolls a d20 for attack roll against you, spend 1 luck point to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. So instead of rolling 3d20, instead of rolling 3d20, yeah, and deciding one, you just. It's basically like rolling 3d20, but not quite.
No, remember this. If you have disadvantage on an attack roll, use
Lucky
lucky
to.
for this.
Yeah.
It would
be
just
straight
turn
roll.
it into neutral roll.
Yep, straight
And
roll.
it wouldn't be disadvantage or advantage. And if we did the opposite, it would still.
Yeah.
So
Healer feat is
it
good now.
honestly balances the lucky feat so fucking.
Healer
And
feat is
healing,
actually
yeah, the healer feat's
pretty good this time.
You can reroll healing, which is always good.
Yeah. If you have a
They
healer
buff
skid, you
the battle
expand.
medic, so
If you have a healer skid, you can spend 1 use of it to tend to a creature within 5 feet of you as an action. The creature expends its hit dice, and then you then roll that hit dice, and then the creature gains the amount of hit points equal to the roll plus your proficiency bonus. Healing rerolls, whenever you roll a die to determine number of hit points you restore with a spell or with the feat's battle medic benefit, you can re-roll the die if it rolls a 1. So, in the midst of combat, let's say we're facing like a beholder or something, somebody can just roll mass, healing word or mass cure wounds, and let's say we roll nat ones, boom, you can just re-roll that shit and get like max potentially.
Yep. Also, there is the musician feat, which is fucking great.
It's
basically like what's up?
I was gonna say it would make builds like what Brain was going for with Rock a bit more viable without having to have the detrimental multi-class.
Yeah, you can actually be a bard subclass per se. And as you finish a short or long rest, you play song on a musical instrument, which you have tool proficiency, and give inspiration to allies that hear the song. The number of allies you can affect in this way equals your proficiency. Now it specifies allies, not yourself. That's a key component. So that is honestly really good. Everyone gets one free, like a lot of people, like 2 or 3 people get free advantage for whatever check they do.
I'm
They
upset.
want to use on. I mean, that's really fucking good.
I'm upset with alert.
Alert is not as great as it was, but it is balanced. But it is balanced compared to what.
Yeah, when you roll initiative, you add proficiency bonus to the roll, and immediately after you roll initiative,
Which is really good.
you can swap your initiative with the initiative of one willing ally in the same combat. You can't make this if you or an ally is incapacitated.
Yep.
The only thing with my only issue with that is it doesn't give you that can't be surprised part.
Yep,
Because
that's what I was saying.
the
That they
whole
had.
thing.
Yeah,
but keep in mind that might be added to a feats that upgrades in the future.
Yeah, but
without
then you'd have to take 2 feats, and if you weren't planning on taking 2 feats, you're shit out of luck.
they might
But
add
keep in
a.
mind if you're like, I mean, keep in mind like there are plenty of like ASIs or like it does make like going for that feats really good because it already gives you a bonus feat, which I had in my games already, but now it's actually limited to your pack. Or if you choose human, you get starting feats, skill proficiency, whatever.
Yeah, so you could potentially get 2 feats if one from humans and one from background. If you went human.
Yeah. It has to be a starting feat though, so it has to be a level 1 feat.
Yep. But
Can't get this upgraded version of it.
But potentially, like maybe they might have, like I said, they might have added an addendum where you just get advantage on the surprise condition. So if somebody's attacking you and and like during the first round of combat you're supposed to be surprised, you have advantage or like you get to make a roll to see whether you're actually surprised or not, or something like that. They might be able to add something like that instead of just straight up being like, oh yeah, you're not surprised anymore. Which is just kind of not fair for DMs. Somebody just takes alert.
Unless they constantly throw surprises at you.
Yeah.
Hey man, this is not my fault. You are suck at passive perception.
We don't. That's the problem.
Hey man, some monsters roll well.
Thieves' Cant was a language, right? But now anybody can.
Is a special language.
It was a special language for rogues only.
Yeah. Now in this case, now it's not that anymore. Now it's not that.
Yeah,
Anybody can take it now. Yeah, even if you're not.
Anybody can take it as long as you have these decent reasons to.
Yeah, or like let's say as part of your backstory that you're creating for your character, you want it makes sense for
You
your
want to
character.
be someone related to these skills.
Like
Even though you're not a criminal, you are like a
Raven would know thieves. Raven would know Thieves' Cant. A Raven would know Thieves' Cant. Yeah, like my character would know Thieves' Cant. So it makes sense. Oh man, nah, sign language is great. I enjoy the fact they actually added sign language as an actual language because that's
now I can add it to my.
This means that like characters in the world that are mute or cannot actually speak, you can still like talk to them.
Yeah. And I've actually, as I said, I got my own character. So, nice.
Nah, there's a lot of good stuff. Now I'm excited for one D&D what they have in store. If this is character customization, like character origins or whatever, next is probably going to be classes.
Yeah.
And changes to classes.
And they're probably going. I can't wait to see. Also, I should make another Steve.
Oh
Fuck
God,
Steve.
no, please,
I mean, there's a guard background, Bryn. I'm just saying.
no,
What is this, payday?
no, God. No. So
See, it's genuinely funny that you call a guard Steve, though, to me.
He is Steve. He is
Another-
nice dude.
I can't wait until they add more. You know what? They might potentially add like different types of vehicles, new weapons.
So one thing I like is that they upgraded the equipment you get
Yep.
for your like other shit.
Hmm. Now it's just part of the
Like guard gets
background.
crossbow bolts, manacles. Like they get a whole shit ton of stuff.
Yep, it's part of the background now, so it's not an issue.
And you get more gold as well.
Hmm.
Like farmer,
That's always gonna suck.
yeah, like farmer gets 23 gold.
Acolytes don't get any gold; they get like 3 gold. Artisans get 25.
Yeah, but that makes sense because you can't have possessions. Like you're devoted to your god.
Criminals have 16. Cultists have 19. Entertainers have 8. Farmers have 23. What? That's not right. That doesn't make sense.
I mean, it kind of does, because in all honesty, farmers are generally a lot more
Richer,
Yeah, they make a lot.
well off than you would really think. I mean, their farming equipment ain't cheap.
Gladiators, guards, guide. A guide gets no money. Nothing.
By the way, what's funny, Hitman?
Hmm?
The farmer gets a tough feat.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I know, that would be a perfect class
For
just for
Grace.
fucking Grace.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I saw
man.
that and was like,
Man, it would have been lovely if we had this before I ran like all my campaigns, and it would be great. But nonetheless, I wasn't smart enough to come with that, so I just said, "Hey, you get it."
Yeah, no, I like.
personally,
I really like this.
Hey.
This format is like simplistic and just easy for anybody to follow. It's not that complicated. It's just simple. You pick a background, boom. These are your modifiers. Just add it to the score that you already have. Boom, done. You're ready.
So for what I imagine,
Mhm.
which is kind of funny, see how they linked, like if you have guide, you got survival and card crystals.
Mhm.
That gives you advantage on all your photographer tools checks
Yep.
because you're trying to use
You've-
the map to.
Yeah,
find
you'd have advantage
shit
on
like that.
survival. You'd have advantage on survival because cartographer plus survival. So
And also, you know the giant language for some reason.
mhm.
I guess you just know it by
You're well traveled.
traveling and trying to avoid said giants.
My-
I mean, I guess that's why you have +2 wisdom, +1 dexterity. Fuck that giant.
Not
Stealth 2, yeah. That makes sense.
laborer also gets tough feet.
Actually, they did get rid of something that did surprise me.
What's up?
They gave so in turn for the feats, the free feats,
Mm-hmm.
they got rid of the feature for the background. So like if you're a sage, you had
Okay, yeah.
discovery or
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, because I don't think that like those are primarily like role play aspects. They didn't really do anything mechanically.
Most of them were roleplay.
They didn't really do anything
Yeah, most of them
mechanically,
were
so I
roleplay.
think
Like,
it
the
made
only-
sense to get rid of them.
The only good mechanical one was which basically allowed you to not worry about shit for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But you can just do that with a good survival role, hunting and stuff like that. So it's not really important. Actually, let's see what the Outlander one gives you. Oh yeah, Urchin gives you fucking luck. I love that.
That's what I was telling Lynn when we opened it. I was like, I'm taking either criminal or urchin. Yes.
Urchin makes fucking. Honestly, it's kind of funny that the one that has no parents got some lucky feet.
Oof. No, I mean they could have parents. Like it doesn't have to fall under the stereotype. Maybe they're just poor.
They have to grow up on the streets and surrounded by some ill-fated cats. A few of them friends and a few of them rivals. Okay. Technically, you don't have to be an orphan, but
Yeah.
most of them are.
But yeah, no, I'm excited, bro. Next month when they drop like the classes or whatever, changes to the classes, that's gonna be amazing. Or changes to weapons and I want melee feat chains because obviously there are so many like feat chains for like spellcasters because you have like like an infinite amount of feats that spellcasters can take, for spells. So, like a Warcaster or Magic Initiate or
Maybe
like Fatal
Magic
Aperture.
Initiate can span into like Spell Sniper or something.
Yeah, but I want
See, in my
that.
opinion, they definitely.
I want that, but for melee, because melee, like you're limited to the same three things. It's the same three things always: either Great Weapon Master, Sharpshooter, or Crossbow Expert.
Do you
That's
think they're
literally the
going to
same thing.
limit that? So, like, if you take one feat, you can't take the other.
They might not. They actually might just might make feat trees for melee because that's what happened in previous editions.
Okay, maybe. What
Where,
were you
like-
saying, by the way, Doug?
The way that I see it when it comes to melee combat is it's so being
Dry.
upfront and personal. It's very dry, but being upfront and personal is alright to an extent. But it's so much more pleasing to be off in the back and being the one not being pounded into.
Yep. Which is why I think that there might be like specific traits. Let's say you choose to play an up close fighter, somebody who's a tank, right? Maybe you're given a fight, just like how backgrounds here have feats. Maybe there'll be certain feats that come with like certain unique fighting styles or certain like benefits. So if you take this specific fighting style, you get this kind of a feat or this benefit. And then as you level up, maybe there's like an additional things you can branch out into based on that
One of the things
fighting style.
One of the things that I think would be kind of nice that they could implement is like some mobs get the parry ability, and I think that ends up being a Battlemaster fighter, one of their maneuvers. But I'd like to see like items implemented that give you the parry ability, like melee items that will, and maybe even other like special items that can give you multiple reactions per round. Not in the sense of like, a wizard gets multiple counter spells, but a way to mitigate the tanks from taking so much damage in like one round.
Multiple
or anything.
possible
like,
like
there
utility
might
with
be-
reactions. So like instead of multiple reactions,
Yeah.
like multiple things you can do with a reaction. So you can always keep doing
Or
new things.
maybe like instead of saying it uses your reaction, but instead of saying it uses your reaction, just say it has a number of charges, and you deplete one charge every time you use this. But every time you take damage, you can choose to reduce that damage by.
Because
so-
people who are up
Right.
close
And
take
then
so
that
much
doesn't-
damage, it's not even funny. They're always
Maybe that
like
can be like
dependent
an
on
upgrade
healing.
to the tough, or the upgrade to armor. Because
like,
honestly, almost all the armor fucking sucks.
Well, like with
Tell you
Garrett,
that
I've got
right
that
now.
armor. I've got the armor. I can use my reaction, and I can just reduce damage taken to 0. That has made playing Garrett a lot more fun because if I'm going to get hit with something that will knock me from full to nothing, I just negate it, and I'm still in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it a lot more viable, especially.
Yeah,
But
maybe
then
they
again,
might add. Maybe they
That is a
might
very
add new
homebrew
circumstances.
campaign. So
They might add
It
new
is.
circumstances
I will
for
say,
like
Hitman,
armor
if you
and
had
stuff.
a chance to run normal campaign, although it probably would only last until 10th. Like, I'm not saying that all campaigns end early, but,
Mhm.
if it was another campaign that didn't run too far, or if it was one that ran as far as mine did, or is, you would probably have a much different experience since they would likely not be going to person.
Well, right. To an extent.
Honestly,
But,
if you ran a standard D&D adventure, you probably have a lot more fun. Because usually
I
when
don't
you
want to
run
run an adventure because you might have those shitheads that'll just sit there and read along the book while you're going through. And yeah, you can change minor things here and there, but I'd much rather just create my own world that I can just have multiple games in.
I get you.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what both of us are doing.
That's how you DM things.
Yeah. But I think they're
But
gonna make the armor system, like wearing armor, feel more important, so that like maybe because
it's funny.
the way armor feels right now is just like, oh, it's just a shirt. Oh, I just went to a mall and just bought a fucking shirt, and like that's what it is. Because at
Here's the
high levels it
thing.
doesn't matter.
Also, typically, you have to when you're going to sleep, you have to take off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That only mattered when we were in low levels and resting. I made like a somewhat problematic, or if you're resting in dungeon. I only bring that up when you're not in a safe environment, or if there's going to be an encounter.
But you know,
Otherwise,
the
I
thing is,
just let people forget about it.
yeah, but I'm saying like just armor itself, the way it's designed right now, like how do I say?
It's kind of boring.
Leather armor and plate
It's boring.
armor, they don't feel any different. They feel the exact same. At high levels, none of it matters. So that's why like I want them to add a system where armor actually feels like valuable, like wearing leather armor like
Maybe
feels like
instead of
wearing
an
leather armor.
AC, it gives you like a tough. Like instead of AC, it gives you like a damage.
Well, yeah, like chainmail, you're better off. What is it? Chainmail is better to capture. I think No, not puncturing. It must be slashing damage.
Yeah,
So you have resistance to slashing damage to an extent while you're wearing
you,
chainmail.
you know what I would say? What's that feat that reduces damage taken by -3 or something like that? Like one of the worst feats ever.
It's heavy armor master. It's
The
heavy
coverage
armor
of armor
master.
master
Now
that they took.
imagine you took that -3 and you implemented it as part of like plate armor or chain armor. So every time you take damage, half
Like
that.
it was that shit. Like any heavy armor, you do have that. Like it's part of the heavy armor.
No, yeah, but it's not part of a feat. It's not a feat. It's just an inherent like thing that's there when you wear it.
What would light armor get?
Dexterity bonus, a bonus on dexterity, and maybe a boost in speed.
Maybe
Like-
a boost in speed.
Advantage
But
on
I
save
can
on
actually
advantage on
movement.
advantage on dex saving throws maybe because it's light. So you
Nah,
know.
that's a little bit too powerful. Like, it might work. Again,
You just sleep in your armor.
well, that's just a boon by itself. Yeah.
I mean, for a light armor, it's not. Light armor isn't meant to be
I
like
don't know. Is
big,
medium
bulky stuff like that.
can like? Oh yeah, no. Here's the thing. Light armor is one of the ones. I think it's the only one you can sleep in. Like it's already a rule that you can sleep in light armor. You just can't sleep in heavy or medium. That's it. That's like the big disadvantages.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, most people bypass the rule
Eight
because they
five,
think
I
it's annoying to remember and stuff.
But yeah, boost to certain like armors would make it feel real good instead of just having
Yeah.
straight AC and.
Also, I just want to
Sorry.
say, let's get rid of padded because it's useless.
There's a lot of armor types that are useless. Paddis is definitely fucking useless.
Yeah, nobody wears it.
Disadvantage on stealth,
It's
just
the worst.
10 plus your dexterity, or 11 plus your dexterity.
It's the worst.
Like, it's just leather armor, but worse.
It's like, why would you even go for padded? No.
Like, it's cheaper, but it's not much cheaper.
You know, same thing with shields. Like, let's say you're wearing like you're holding
Heavy
a
shields, tower shields.
yeah, but let's say you have like a shield made of metal, right? Like let's go even cooler and like consider the build of the type of shield. So if it's a tower shield made of wood, maybe it might have a different benefit than like a standard shield made of wood. Obviously, it'll have disadvantage in fire because wood would burn very easily.
I just realized this. I know I'm not the only one that has thought of this. If you just get adamantine shield, you don't need adamantine armor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, That's just
the only problem is you don't get the extra pluses for it being magical at that point. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, like if it's a standard campaign, that doesn't allow you to enchant like an attack stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that has a good bypass to it. Just be like, all right,
Yeah.
my shield's adamantine, and I got legendary.
But yeah, but making just these small adjustments to each like armor type or weapon type, it like
Making
it would
useful.
just make it so much better, or like make combat feel a little bit more cooler. Like I want to do cool shit like grab a great sword, vault over an enemy,
will
and
say-
slice his head. Like give me
the
the ability to do that
inspiration
mechanically.
with the nat 20s is very nice.
Mhm.
Like if you get a nat 20, you can then roll attack with the advantage, and if you get another nat 20, you can just keep chaining the inspiration rolls. And if you keep getting lucky, I mean, you get lucky. Like Cade, if we had that rule
Mhm.
when he kept rolling nat 20s, he would have just been like, all right, I always have. I'm sorry, guys.
I wish I could roll that fucking well.
Oh yeah, that day I really did.
Goddamn night.
I don't know how, but I really did think that he cheated somehow for a minute. But I'm like, no, he wouldn't do that. He might, but he wouldn't do that. God damn it! How the fuck?
I think the final thing I want, apart from armors and weapons and stuff, and obviously changes to classes, is give me a mechanic for actual RP. Because I've noticed there isn't actually like a proper mechanic on how to RP. Because a lot of people when they get into D&D, they're like they don't know how to RP, and like it's not really a like focus on the story. And D&D is a role-playing game. It's not a combat-centered game. It's supposed to be role playing, and we don't have a role play mechanic. So give me like some benefits of being like a role playing well or some way. That would be amazing for the game.
Funny thing is, the funny thing is, there are some elements of some mechanics, but they're from add-ons, or from some.
Yeah, they're from third party stuff, not actual D&D.
And with the new inspiration rule, it does kind of make it like you just roll nat 20, no matter what these people believe, what the fuck you're doing, what the fuck you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you're rolling a deception check, you can say, all right, I'm adding that to my next deception or persuasion check I'm doing. And if you get like you do what you do, and it's really nice. It's like that getting at least that nat 20. I will say feels really nice because you always know that you just got something. And the DM doesn't have to say, "Oh, you got inspiration from your role playing." When you rolled that nat 20, you know you did. So you got that inspiration automatic.
This made me remember you haven't given out inspiration in fucking forever.
I keep on forgetting to. With all the things I have in my head, I keep on forgetting. Like I think the only ones that have gained like that inspiration are Tendled from the air domain initiation or the air initiation.
But yeah, that's basically my thoughts for future of D&D. There's like way more we could go into. Let us know if you want us to talk more about D&D and like the future of D&D and cover any additional content whenever it drops. But for
It's
now,
a lot
that's
of fun. You
that's
should.
pretty much it. See you guys in a bit, maybe whenever the next
video.
Yeah, whenever the next video drops out, whenever any news comes out about D&D, any new Unearthed Arcana drops, we'll cover it. So, till then.